What is up, everybody? It's your boy Fink here in Switch 84, and today we've been talking about how Sledge Hammer is going to end up developing their own Call of Duty game here in 2014. Now, if nobody has noticed, IGN did a post where they were talking about how Call of Duty, instead of being an every year thing, is going to switch up to a 3-year cycle, which, I don't know, it gives a new thought about it, considering that they have no excuse anymore to say, oh, my game was rushed, development was rushed. They have 3 years to develop each game now. So, I know Sledgehammer didn't get too many likes or any advantages off the fact that they helped with MW3, which was completely horrible.
Yeah.
Multiplayer was unplayable. It was so unplayable.
That's about when I was to the point where I was like about ready to just call it quits and be done. Because I liked Black Ops a lot. That's when Treyarch stepped in and started doing the Black Ops series. I loved the first Black Ops, and that kind of got me back into it because I stopped playing pretty early on in Modern Warfare 2. Because a lot of the glitches and a lot of the things that people were doing in that game just made it practically unplayable at a certain point. But then when Black Ops came in, and that got me kind of back on it, and I was like, all right, well, we're gonna ride this wave, and see how it goes, and then boom, Modern Warfare 3, and it's just like fucking fail, and I do think that the Sledgehammer, they've probably are gonna have a little more to overcome because of that. People are gonna be a little more skeptical of them than, say, maybe Treyarch or Infinity Ward. But the fact that Activision is, plans on still continuing forward with it being an annual franchise, but they're going to do this 3-year cycle they're talking about, that is probably the best way they could go about it, simply because it'll give each developer more time to work on the specific game that they've got under their wing,
Well, you figure, Sledgehammer was piggybacking on the last game. They helped develop.
Right.
And maybe this is what I think, though. Maybe that they didn't feel that was their best creation that they could have done maybe by themselves. So I figure the break off could be good because, you figure the 3-year cycle is going to go Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, and then Treyarch. So the next Treyarch game...
No, it'll probably be Treyarch.
It's gonna be Treyarch first. So we figure we're gonna see Treyarch in 2015. We won't see Infinity Ward again until 2016.
Right. Which is good because it gives a little bit of a break from the stagnation. Of just same thing every year. We basically know what to look forward to. That's why I like Ghost so much, because it felt like it was kind of a breath of fresh air to a franchise that has gotten really stale. And kind of dust the cobwebs off a little bit, in terms of trying new things and taking chances. But if you're not a Call of Duty fan, you probably don't really notice those minor tweaks and these little different changes here and there. If you play it regularly, you're going to notice things like that. But if you're more of a Battlefield guy, or if you don't even play FPSs, shooters at all, then you're probably thinking, okay, well, what's really in it for me? It looks all the same, that sort of thing. But I think if you're a Call of Duty player, you're probably pretty excited to hear this because, you're going to have Treyarch that's given a little bit more time, Infinity Ward be given more time. Sledgehammer is really going to have to step up to the plate, and see if they can kind of move past the fail of a Modern Warfare 3 that they had.
Well, see, and that's the one thing I'm most excited about is the fact that Treyarch is getting that extra time, considering that they have such a big franchise and big following through zombies alone.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine given the extra time, what new stuff can come out of zombies mode by itself.
Yeah.
That's going to be...
I had somebody coming in the store the other night or something like that, and was just like, why'd they get rid of zombies? And I'm just like, well, I think they wanted to try something new. Like, zombies, is a great thing. Like, I'm not knocking it. It's really popular. It's picked up a, huge following of players. But, if you're constantly, doing the same thing over and over again, reiterating yourself, that leaves very little room for creativity and for surprising the consumers with something new and fresh. So I'm glad that they tried this thing with Extinction. you know, just because it'll give them a little bit more time to look at zombies maybe in a different light and go about it in a different way.
Objectively.
Yeah.
You know, have some sort of awesome, like, boss battle like Nightfall did. And, you know, I wish the best of luck, Sledge Hammer. We'll see what you come up with at the end of the year. I know you know a little bit more about this. The Last of Us DLC is supposed to drop. Left Behind here in a week, so...
Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Great way to spend it, you know. Take the lady out. We're going out with the ladies, and then we're come back and check. I'm playing it.
I mean, yeah, you go out with your, you go out with your wife, and then be like, you know what, honey? I'll be right back. 6 hours later, you've been playing.
I'm gonna run and get you those chocolates that I forgot all about. But no. Yeah, that's kind of my plan. Is check that out as soon as I'm really excited. You know, it's. I'm a little disappointed that it's going to be the only story-based DLC. That everything else has been multiplayer, which, you know, isn't necessarily bad because the multiplayer is really great for that game. But this is going to be a prequel. It's going to come up, you know, before the actual events that occurred during the campaign. You're going to see Ellie, and you're going to see a character. I forget the character's name at the moment, but a character that she actually referenced in the game. Towards the end of the campaign, she referenced this girl, and basically you're going to play, I believe, primarily as Ellie, and you know, go from there, seeing, you know, kind of what happened, like from her perspective, you know, all the way up to the events where the actual campaign story began at the very beginning of Last of Us. But I'm super excited about it. It's one of my favorite games of 2013. Probably my vote for Game of the Year. But, you know, the thing is, like, you can't beat a dead horse because that's not a good thing. So I'm wondering, you know, with these talks about, you know, possibly a Last of Us sequel, possibly like, you know, something that is a spin-off of the actual game, or possibly a direct sequel. You know, Naughty Dog's been kind of hinting around, because we know that they're working on Uncharted 4, but Naughty Dog actually has two development studios. So I imagine right now one of them is working on Uncharted 4, which we've already gotten a small teaser for. We'll probably see more at this year's E3. And then I imagine the other one is either working on a Last of Us sequel or maybe a new IP altogether. You know, they've kind of been a little ambiguous about you know, what exactly they have in store, but I'm excited. They're one of my favorite developers for sure.
Yeah, I know. I only played a little bit into it. Didn't have it too long. You know, I just got in the PS3, and it was one of the first games I picked up. I know for on the 360 side of things that Titanfall was delayed until the 25th. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, pushed back a few weeks. I mean, nothing huge, nothing that's like, you know, gonna really hurt them. Push back 2 weeks, but for the 360 version now, the Xbox One and the PC are still launching on March 11th. But the 360 got pushed back, and I imagine that's because the developer, they're maybe putting some last finishing touches on it. You know, some people might see that as, you know, something to be a little wary of, you know, apprehensive, but, you know, if they need a little bit more time to make sure that everything's up and up, you know, I'm all for it. I can wait a couple extra weeks. You know, I know a lot of people that we know personally are probably going to give us a third degree about it, but I plan on getting that for the 360. That game looks really great. I don't know if it's a console seller like so many people believe that it is. You know, people think that they're justified by buying a $500 system just to play that game. I think that's a little extreme. That puts a lot of pressure on the game itself to live up to these unrealistic expectations. It looks like it could be good. I mean, this whole idea of it being a Call of Duty killer, I don't have that much faith in it. I mean, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a brand new IP, you know, that's on exclusively one platform to be a Call of Duty killer.
Well, on that topic, you figure that yes, it's going to be one of the very first multiplayer dedicated servers experiences, but yeah, it may be one of the first, but Call of Duty is going to learn from whatever mistakes that Titanfall and any other game is making with their multiplayer on the dedicated servers and then revamp. So it's always going to be that constant battle anyway.
Right.
You know, I know it sucks for the 360, but then again, I'm with you. I'd rather it be a finished and complete project than I get something half-assed where I'm going to have to patch it every day and do something like that, you know? And
Well, I think that shows that they really care. Like the studio was a Blue Studios, something Blue Studios is that the one that's actually doing it is
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, they did had really great success with the Metal Gear HD remake. They did Eco Shadow Colossus. I mean, they did a couple of God of Wars. Like it's a matter of them understanding their limitations and saying, hey, you know what, just to play it safe, we're going to hold off for 2 weeks, and but maybe not. Maybe we could be wrong. I mean, this could be a ploy to try to get people to buy that Xbox One. I know certain retailers like GameStop and whatnot are offering the new it's a new promotion where you can actually put $25 down and put it on layaway because Microsoft wants people to appropriate their tax returns to getting their system. People that have maybe didn't have the money back in November or around Christmas time, around launch. So they're offering this new layaway plan, and this this might all be a ploy. Maybe the game's done. There is really nothing left to be polished, but they just want to tease everybody into trying to get it on Xbox One. People that don't want to wait, that sort of thing. Maybe kind of give that extra satisfaction to people that did go out and buy an Xbox One, that they get it early. It feels somewhat exclusive at first, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that would make total sense. And I figured for the PS3 on the February lineup, I end up playing Last Light Metro.
Right.
Never played it before. Didn't play the first one. People told me the first one was amazing. I got breaking through the Nazi prison and escaping, right? And I thought it was a pretty decent. It's a good experience. I like the little sneak portions of it, and it plays really smooth. I didn't get hung up on anything when I was trying to escape.
Mm-hmm. The 2033 is a great play. I regret not playing them in order. There's not really you don't have to play them in order and play both of them to understand the story. It's not necessary. But I played Last Light first, and then I thought that was one of the most underrated games of 2013. Did not get enough vindication as far as the quality of the graphics, the gameplay, the survival horror experience. But I thought that going back to play 2033 felt a little like going back several years in technology. I mean, granted, it was because 2033 came out 4 or 5 years ago. So the overall mechanics felt antiquated. They were out of date. There was a glitchy stealth system. You throw a knife, it doesn't always go into the guy. It's little things like that. But it was still worth going back and playing that because the story was great. It was the game's scary as shit. There's no joke.
That's what I had problems too, throwing the knives to hit the lights, to bust the lights out, stay in the dark.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I hit that thing dead on.
In 2033?
Yeah, it hit somewhere over here on the left.
Yeah, and I felt like Last Light just kind of, was a newer version, new polished, finished version of 2033, continuation of it, but a better one, more up to date. The graphics, I've seen that game run on ultra settings on PC. Oh my God, it is one of the most gorgeous games in the last couple years. But excellent game. The fact that it's still a $30 or $40 game and you can get it for free on PlayStation Plus is just amazing. Just highlights the advantage of being a PlayStation Plus member.
Yes, and I know talking about PlayStation Plus, we'll get a lot of PS4 fanboys, PS fanboys. I know I got a lot of that in the last one, but the best thing about that is that all my gameplay footage is 360.
Oh yeah. Well, I always go back to reminding people. I played exclusively Xbox for the last 8 years. I didn't even own a PlayStation 3 until recently. I didn't own a Vita until recently. Did I buy a PS4? Absolutely. I felt the price point was right for me. I felt that the game lineup. I'm more of a fan of story based. Very story driven, character developed. Video games, and so. You've got that on both. They're both great companies. They're both great systems. But you just have to. At the end of the day, you've got to. It should be about the games. And the game should really define what system you're playing.
Well, that's why I figured I'd say that because everybody's got to remember that we're just we're neutral in this, and we're just, stating what we think. It's all about, how we feel. And I noticed that you end up picking up a new PS3.
Yeah.
500 gigabytes, super slim. What games have you been playing mostly on that since you picked it up?
I was fortunate enough to actually I got one that was not wiped. So there was some like the God of War games on there. There was Mortal Kombat, Borderlands, stuff like that. So I was toying around with those a little bit. My wife actually has been bogarting that system lately. She's been going through Last of Us, getting ready for the DLC. But I this past week I actually finished OutLast, which was on the PS4. That came out for PlayStation Plus members, free download. Amazing. I can't even tell you. I mean, I squealed like a schoolgirl when I heard that was coming out. Because I wanted to get it on Steam this past holiday season, but I just never got around to it. I had a huge backlog, and to hear it come out for the PlayStation 4, especially after a month after Don't Starve, you're getting two very popular, hugely underrated PC Steam titles, that have a huge following in their own right, and for Sony to say, we're going to bring those to our console was just a great idea. I hope they continue to do it. I'd love to see, console versions of Rust, or maybe when DayZ gets out of alpha and gets their finished product, maybe DayZ come over. That would be huge because I want to play that game so freaking hard. But yeah, Outlast was amazing. It'll scare the absolute shit out of you. Just basically drink a nice big cup of Be a Fucking Man and play it, because it's worth it. You will not regret when you get to the very end. You'll feel very satisfied, and it's an awesome game.
All right, guys. That's it for us today. As always, thanks for stopping by. Remember to comment, rate, subscribe. If you have not heard the last podcast, it'll be up on the left of your screen. Go and click it. It'll take you to the last one. You can hear what we talked about last week. So, like I said, you guys, see you later.